All of this is going to end up becoming HVAC in here.
Welcome back to drybonesgarage. This episode is a part of a series where me and my dad take a 63 Corvair and a G-body frame and combine them together to create a hot rod. This episode is going to be about us building the foundation for our HVAC system. So I hope you enjoy that, and I'll see you at the end of the episode. To start off, Dad laid some tape on the footwell to make it easier to pull the fiberglass mold he'll be making out of it.
Oh, we're still going to use that?
Yeah. We're just going to build our own back piece, and then we're going to have to, once we get the engine out, we're going to cut a hole.
Yeah.
And then once we get the engine up, we'll actually build to the core, a little recess, or we'll build it into the glass, and then when we're ready, we'll just cut the firewall there, and then bolt everything together. Now that's going to be a bit of a puzzle yet, but yeah, we'll put the motor right here hanging down just like in the HHR, and it'll draw from up above this. There's a nice little pocket there. We should be good to go. Once we get that done, then we can figure out what the heck we got to do for that wiper motor. I think that's going to be mounted somewhere up behind the driver's pod, and we might change where it actually picks up in that arm. Maybe we'll have to see how things work out or wash out there.
Hey Dad, what are you doing?
Tearing up pieces of matting so when we do the firewall, this stuff will be more compliant. It's just easier to work with. We're using smaller pieces.
Do you need help or gloves or something?
What I'd really like is to be sitting in someplace cold right now doing this fully clothed, because this stuff is itchy.
Like I was saying, do you need any gloves?
Gloves ain't gonna help me, but sleeves sure would. Gravity's fighting me here on this one. I really wish I had gotten some gloves.
Are you itching?
No, it's not so much the itching, it's
sticky.
This stuff is sticky, and it got into a cut, so it's kind of burning. Most of this we're probably going to end up cutting out of here, but better to have it in there and not need it than to need it and not have it.
In our funky footwell.
Our funky footwell. Most of this is going to disappear from view when we're done here, I think. A lot of this is going to end up being, I think, we'll have to see how much space this actually does end up taking up, but all of this is going to end up becoming HVAC in here.
Here Dad and I cut off some of the excess material.
I don't know about that.
Hey, why'd you blow that in my face?
Sorry. It's gotten awful close to where we need it.
Thick.
Probably should do is just fold this that way, and we'll probably have more than enough.
The flat piece we're making here is for the interface and will probably be the bottom of the ductwork as well. The metal piece took up too much space and wouldn't fit right in the box.
I don't want to cut this up, okay? This is still a pretty decent piece. We can reuse this for something else potentially.
Yeah.
And I don't want to recreate the wheel, so what I figure we'll do is we'll just make a glass copy of this that we can fit into the heater box that we're building, which still needs quite a bit of refinement and finish, but we've got an inverse of the firewall that we can actually bolt literally to the firewall.
Yeah.
Once we've got our mounts put in, which we'll glaze in here shortly, we've got to actually figure out where we want to attach this to the firewall and how. Then we'll lay these in, put our squirrel cage like right in this area here, and then have it blowing into through where the heater core will be and into the internal box, which is nowhere the camera's going to get to right now. So a little bit more prep and we should be moving here. So our coolant lines are going to come through right about here. I'm not in love with this, but I think that's probably our best option there. And there's already a mountain of meat. We'll just have to make really cotton picking sure that we're using short bolts up here because there's almost nothing for clearance. So I figure what we'll do is we'll put one here, we'll put two here, and then maybe on the back side we'll run up somewheres into the vent for the kick panel, and then run a couple in from the outside or out from the inside, and then have those three in from the outside, and that should give us a nice rigid structure where this will be, you know, well and truly mounted to the car where it's not going to break off, flop off, vibrate loose, or anything of the sort. I think we'll go that route. Okay, there we go.
You don't want that flopping?
No, this we want as close to flat as we can get it. So I want that actually fully supported, and then the weight of this resting on it, and then we'll close up pieces and parts and edges. Some of these gaps are fairly substantial, but that's what we're gonna have when we're done. We'll have to cut that way down to make it all work. Okay, we've got those laid out. We've got those laid out. We've got that laid out. We've got pieces and parts. What do you think? Should we cut a top for this or just kind of fold it over with the pieces?
Sorry, I was about to sneeze. Can you repeat that?
I just wonder, I've got two full layers for the sides. It wouldn't hurt if we had one actual kind of dedicated top piece.
Yeah.
At least, because the motor's actually going to be hanging off of this piece that we're making. But once we start layering this in, it's going to get so thick, I don't think we're going to need any more than one. Because when it's all said and done, we're going to be probably 4 deep all the way around on this.
Yeah.
And then cut back to a radius here, and then we'll have to figure out whether or not we need these centering divots. I don't think we will. So we'll just kind of clean it, flush it, mark it, drill it, and then mount that motor.
Can I do that?
I don't care.
I know how to cut things.
You're pretty good at it too.
Yeah. I learned how to bubble cut in kindergarten.
What?
Bubble cut.
What's that?
I don't know, just like cutting curves is what they called bubble cutting in kindergarten.
Oh.
I remember it being pretty
so
challenging
talented.
when I was
Is it?
that age. I don't know, I remember it being challenging. I think other kids had an easier time doing that than I did. Trying to be as precise as I can.
Don't worry about it, kiddo. Don't. That's plenty.
Okay.
We're gonna have to sand and smooth and grind that out, and there's gonna be other layers that are gonna mold this little perfection of the circle, if you wanna call it that.
Yeah.
So we're not concerned. I just wanted that donut. We know we don't need to go past this. There's no question about it. You know, so as we're laying those smaller patches in, we've got something we can kind of work to. This is the border, this far, no farther, right?
Right.
Okay.
I accidentally shoved more glass in the piece than I should have here. We weren't exactly having the easiest time with that.
That's looking hideous. Let's see. You're jamming the crap out of that.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe this isn't setting up more than this. I mean, it's getting jelly-ish, but it's not setting up. So the problem is we need this all on the inside. We can't do this from the outside, or we're gonna start interfering with, you know, panels and parts. I put ammonia goo in the flange. You may want to just kind of score this and break it right there. This is loose. We're loose up to about here, I think, and we're loose up to about here. The other thing we can do is come in and cut this back to the metal, which it needs to be done one way or the other. Come and cut that back, and then maybe jimmy your way in and expand it from the top. I don't know. So apparently we didn't get enough of that release agent down in that flange because it's fighting us. So, yeah, if you want to do that, I'm going to turn off my mic and start grinding and cutting on that.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know what this. Just want to take it out. Yeah. I didn't trust myself to cut the fiberglass without cutting the metal underneath as well, so I avoided the grinder while peeling the piece up.
Just cut it off there, kiddo, if it's still fighting you. Unless you're making some decent headway.
What?
Are you making decent headway? Did you do what I told you to? Take the cutoff wheel and just work it around there without getting into the metal? Alright, you want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Finish welding that?
We put Marglass on the piece to reinforce it.
I think, I do not know, but I think this might be a better way forward than what we were trying to do earlier this morning. I think what we're going to end up doing is cutting like this area out, probably here, and also inside the car in order to make room for that heater core. But I don't want to start hacking that up until we've got a little more meat into this thing where it's strong, or strong enough to keep its shape. So we're going to let that go for now. When you mix this stuff, you don't want to stir it like with a stick, and you don't want to get it too hot with the activator.
Why don't you want to stir it with a stick?
When you stir it with a stick, you're literally mixing air into it. And if you mix it too hot with the activator, you're essentially ending up with the same thing, only it's because of the chemical reaction and the heat created by it.
You're going to end up with what now?
You're going to end up with little itty bitty pock marks. So it's better to actually draw it out with the paddle, like you're working it on the car. I'm not sure how we'll manage that yet as far as this bolt in here goes. But in order to make this fit and work, we had to cut a relief for our cooling lines, right? Or actually our heating lines.
Yeah.
And then we had to relieve this for the heater core. Now we're gonna have to cut into the car again. So in order to make room for this and then create our access. Now I marked that on the firewall.
Did we paint it too soon?
Yeah. I don't know what the heck I was thinking when we did that. I think at that point in time we had figured we were just gonna have a couple of cuts for some hoses and that was it. Because we were, when we painted that, still I think planning on using the jungle site heater box.
Yeah.
But that did not fit in the cavity the way it was supposed to. It was a little bit larger than it needed or was advertised to be. So then we got the brainiac idea to do this. So, but yeah, we'll get that done. We've got half of the box for the fan made. We need to finish that, join it in here, and then start closing off the box in all the areas we don't want air moving from the places we do want the air moving. This is all pretty much just mount and nothing else. A place we can mount the box to, however you want to word that. She's getting closer. Probably should make this a fair sight bigger so we can get in there. We probably want to use spring clips in there rather than worm gears. It'll be kind of a pain in the backside getting to those. And it'll be a mother with the engine in place. So that's literally going to be right behind the curbside head on this thing, I think. So the hoses are going to be like way down and in there, and there's just not going to be a lot of room. That's going to be a lot of not fun. Unless we use like 90 degree, I don't know if we can get hoses with a 90 degree end on them in that area. If we can, that'll work out pretty nice because then we can just kind of run them right up along the inside of that curbside valve cover. Go that route. So yeah, a little bit more work on this. Got some more fab work coming up.
Well, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, then please make sure to give us a like. And if you want to see more about the Corvair and what we're doing with it, then please make sure to subscribe. Other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Happy holidays, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.